The previous lesson, we saw how we can add a class, and it was relatively straightforward. We use class list and a method called add, and the alternative is there's a method called remove in class list as well. So I'm going to be showing you that one. So next we need to do is we need a way to close our modal. So there's a number of ways that we want to close this modal, and they rely on the user interaction. So either clicking the close button, so that's going to be one way that they can close that modal. So once it's opened up within the object that's opened up, we can select the value for close. We could also place that into a global object as well. So it's all dependent on how you want to use it. And in this case, I want to use the variable object only within the scope of the add event listener. So this is when I need to select the element that is to close. We can call it close button using document and our favorite query selector, selecting the element with a class of close. So it's going to give us the same option that we had where we have that element, we selected the element, and now we want to apply an event listener to that element. So selecting that close button object that we just created, and we can add in an event listener. So add event listener, and the event listener we're listening for is click. And we can just do an anonymous function here, where when that button gets clicked, what do we want to do? We want to return that modal. So adding in a return value here and selecting our modal wrapper using class list. And the opposite of add, you guessed it, is remove. So we want to remove show modal. So it's as easy as that to remove a particular class. And now we can try that out. So let's refresh and hit the close button, and boom, our modal disappears. So there's a few other ways that we want to close our modal. So let's add that functionality in as well. So we have our modal wrapper, which we can make interactive just like the other elements, where we can add an event listener. And the event listener, of course, is a click that we're listening for. And then we've got our function, and the code is going to be the same where we're closing the modal. So we can do a return of the modal, and this will close down the modal the same way. So this is a click just outside of the modal, but over the overlay. And once we click that, the same way it closed down. And there's also one other one that I want to show you. So there's one other event listener that we want to listen for, and that's event on any one of the body of the element. So selecting our main body using document, query selector, and we're selecting the body tag. So this is going to be all of our, so anywhere the user has focus on the page is going to be captured under body, and we can add an event listener just so as we had the other ones. And this one's going to be actually a little bit different because this isn't going to be a click. We're going to be listening for key down. And that's another event that you can listen for. If key down is pressed, then we invoke the anonymous function. And you guessed it, we're going to return the modal wrapper class list remove. But there's one other thing that we need to do, and we need to track which key got pressed. So let's try that out. And for now, I'm going to log out the key values. So there's every key on your keyboard has a key code. Once we refresh and we open up our modal, now if I click any of the keys, we see that we get a key value, a key number. So enter is 13, space is 32. And the one that we want to listen for is escape, which is 27. So getting those key codes, and the key code for escape, so we want the user to be able to press escape and then close the modal if they press escape. And escape has a key code of 27. So now we can try that out and open up our browser, click the modal pop-up, and I'm going to press a bunch of keys. So that's space, that's enter. So we see their key codes being tracked within our console here. And when I press escape, number 27, it closes down. And you can see also if we can open it up and close that back down again using any one of the options that we provide the user to close the modal. So now try this out for yourself, and this was a great exercise to try adding different event listeners to different parts of your JavaScript. So try it out, add it into your project, and close down that modal that we opened up in the earlier lesson.